All right, friends, I'm going to ask you a question, and I need you to be honest with me, okay? Pure honesty. This is a safe space. You can be honest. Do you ever struggle to get your Bluetooth devices to connect and to work the way that you want them to? Or do you ever have those pop-ups saying that something's trying to connect to your device via Bluetooth and you're not really sure where it came from? Well, this stream is just for you. It's your son in tech, Mackenzie, here with another friendly tech help hour. And today we're going to be talking about Bluetooth technology. Not going to get super technical. We're just going to understand the basics, answer some key questions. For example, some questions we're going to answer today. How is Bluetooth different than Wi Fi? Right? How is Bluetooth different than Wi Fi? How do I connect my devices with Bluetooth? What devices can I connect to? And what about privacy and Bluetooth? Is there any reason for us to be concerned about privacy? We're going to talk about all of those things. And I just want to commend you. I appreciate the honesty in the chat. I appreciate you being sincere because we all struggle, and that's okay. That's the challenge of modern technology. There's always something new to learn. And today, in fact, we're going to make it extremely simple. We're going to have a live demonstration on how to connect a device via Bluetooth. We're going to look at both Android and Apple. So, a lot to get into today. Again, let's start with the basics. In short, if we're just going to keep it simple, what Bluetooth is? Bluetooth is just a wireless technology, right? Don't make it any more complicated than that. It's just a wireless technology to connect devices, right? And you understand wireless technology. I don't care how old you are. If you're alive right now, you understand wireless technology. Remember the radio, right? That's just wireless technology. It's a way to broadcast a message, right? With radio, they could send it miles and miles and miles, and anybody with a receiver that was tuned into the right station, they could hear it, right? So we understand this concept of wireless technology. That part, super, super simple. But let's be a little more specific, right? Because we've talked about other kinds of wireless technology. For example, wireless internet, something totally different, right? But that allows you to connect to that information superhighway. There's also mobile data or cellular data, right? Same thing, a wireless form of communication, right? And that way we can connect to the internet. But that kind of connection is for big files, sending a lot of information. Like right now, for example, you may be on a device watching this stream and you're not connected with wires to your internet, right? That's the purpose of those other technologies. Bluetooth is different, right? Bluetooth has a different purpose than sending big massive files or for, communication of that sort, right? Bluetooth is different. So when we think about radio, radio was for broadcasting, right? Sending out a ton of information to a ton of people over a huge distance, right? That is not the purpose of Bluetooth technology. Bluetooth technology is more like using a walkie-talkie, right? It's more like using a walkie-talkie. It and we remember those, right? If you didn't use them, maybe your kids use them, maybe your grandkids use them, but it was just two radios that when you tune them to the same frequency, you two could communicate, and it was a private connection, right, between those two devices. Now, with walkie-talkies, of course, they have limitations, right? And that biggest limitation is what? It's distance, right? How far apart can you be before the connection is disrupted, right? That is also true when it comes to Bluetooth, right? There is a distance concern, right? Bluetooth allows one of your devices and another of your devices to communicate together. In this case, we have a cell phone, right? But they can only be about 30 feet apart. After they're 30 feet apart, that connection is severed. So it's designed for things to be in very, very close proximity. Now, you may be wondering, and logically, why in the world would I only want to have my devices to be able to communicate in this walkie-talkie style for only 30 feet apart? That seems kind of outrageous when we can send messages across the planet using Wi-Fi. Well, here's some examples of times you may want your devices to only work in a close proximity. For example, let's say you're in the airport and you want to listen to music or you want to listen to a message privately. You don't want other people to be able to hear it. Rather than having to use another form of technology, you use Bluetooth to connect some wireless headbuds to or earbuds to your phone, and then you can listen to your music. What if you're a person that doesn't like to wear glasses, but you're farsighted, but you need to work at the computer? You could get a massive 80-inch screen, or you could just back away a little bit. But then if your keyboard is here, now you're stretching out trying to use the keyboard from so far away. If you have a Bluetooth keyboard, you can set it in your lap of the way that you may want to use Bluetooth, right? So we've got, as we said, a couple different use cases. We're going to talk about a couple of other ways that Bluetooth works. Let's just drill down just a little bit into the details of how Bluetooth works. And we're not going to get technical. Don't let this intimidate you. We're going to keep it really simple, but we do need to explain the process, right? Because this is where most of us get tripped up, is the process of connecting our two devices. So whether those two devices, as we just mentioned, it could be, okay, we want to connect our phone to our earbuds, right? Or we may want to connect something else, right? We may want to connect, like we said, our keyboard to our computer. In that process, right? If we understand that process, you can connect any two devices. It doesn't matter what they are. As long as one of them has a screen that you can interface with, you can connect them via Bluetooth. And right now, we're going to review exactly how to do that. There are 4 steps to this process. 4 steps. You're only involved really in just 1 or 2 of them. The first step is called discovery, right? You have to place your devices in something called the discoverable mode. That means that they're able to send out signals to other devices that only they can hear, and they're saying, hey, I'm available. I'm willing to connect, right? Single and ready to mingle from a Bluetooth perspective, right? We're just saying that in the sense of we want them to be able to hear each other. If your Bluetooth is turned off, you cannot go into discoverable mode, which means you won't be able to connect your devices. So step one is turning your Bluetooth on. Well, again, we're going to look at exactly how to do that when we go to our live demo in just a couple of minutes. This is the first and most important step, right? It's going to search, remember, a 30-foot radius for if there are another device that is in discoverable mode, right? Step number one. Step number two, this is called pairing, right? That means you've not only said I'm available, or your device has said that, the other device is also saying available and they're ready to pair, right? And oftentimes, if you're using an audio device, it will even say pairing or pairing mode to let you know that they're trying to establish the connection. Sometimes this part is where we get frustrated because it says pairing and then nothing happens, seemingly. Sometimes during this process, they may ask you for um, a pass key, 4 digits or 6 digits. This may happen when you're in your car and you're trying to use like a CarPlay or an app that connects your audio on your phone to the audio in the car, or maybe you have a smart device in your car where you can kind of use it as an extension of your phone. Sometimes this is the frustrating part when it goes into pairing mode. So this is key. Let's really lock in for this part. You have to confirm during this process that you are intentionally connecting these two devices, right? So let me explain. Your phone, your tablet, whatever main device is that you want to connect to others, it's going to have a profile. And that profile is just a name. It's just a name. So let's say you're an iPhone user, your name is Wanda. Your phone is probably going to be called Wanda's iPhone, right? Now, when you go to pair your iPhone, we'll just take an example, a set of JBL Explosive 2 earbuds, and you put them both in Discoverable. When they are ready to pair, there's going to be a pop-up on your screen that's going to say, hey, Wanda's iPhone, these JBL Explosive 2 earbuds want to pair with you, and you have to tell it yes. Yes, I do want to pair. Now, you may have to repeat this process a few times the first time you connect your device. I'm not really sure why that's the case. It's just a common thing that you have to repeat the process a few times. Don't get discouraged. Don't get frustrated. Just mentally prepare. I need to do this a couple of times. It may not work the first time. In fact, it's unlikely to work the first time. You may have to do it a couple of times. There are some devices that have apps to do this connection process, right? So I use the example of JBL. JBL is a company that almost always their earbuds also connect via an app. This makes the process much, much easier. There's always instructions, step-by-step instructions that come with that app. Just read them and follow them. It will work. I assure you, JBL is a billion-dollar company. They put a lot of R&D into making sure that these things work. So their pairing mode is very, very simple. Now, once your devices have entered pairing mode, they're ready to start communicating via Bluetooth. They have to establish encryption. Now, don't feel bad if you don't know the answer, but do you remember what encryption is? I'm gonna give you a second. See if you can remember. We talked about this in our live stream about using messaging apps, right? We went into a lot of detail. We kept it simple, but it was very thorough. Can you remember what encryption is? If you can't, don't worry. We're going to review it right now. So, encryption is a process by which your devices are able to send secret messages to each other. So, in this case, we'll say that box on the far left, that's your phone, right? And that interface in between, what's happening there is your phone uses a uh, key, an encryption key, to scramble the message, right? It scrambles that message so that if by any chance, someone saw that message before it arrived to who you were sending it to, it would look like nonsense because they don't have the key. The person on the other end of the encryption is the only person that has the key, which means this is private communication. So, the point of this is that there's an encryption handshake that happens between your phone and your earbuds or your phone and your car, which means no one can eavesdrop on that communication channel between your Bluetooth devices, right? It is a private, secure connection. This is really, really important for this part to happen. And sometimes this will kind of hang for a minute. You'll see it say pairing, and it'll just kind of like sit in pairing and sit in pairing. And what's happening is after you've confirmed that, yes, I do want to connect these two devices, well, now it's going to take its time to make sure that that encryption handshake takes place. This can take up to 90 seconds. So again, patience. Don't get frustrated. Don't get discouraged. Just remember, it may take a little bit of time. So, do we have it? Let's just make sure we've got it. The 4 steps to connecting your Bluetooth devices. Number 1, turn on your Bluetooth and set both devices to discoverable. Step number 2, wait for them to try to pair. When you see the device on the screen that you want to connect to and you tap it, it's going to say pairing or connecting. Just be patient. There should be a to be there. Patience. It's really important because during the pairing process, once they confirm that yes, we do want to connect, then the encryption handshake has to take place. And then lastly, you should get a notification saying that you were successful. You have connected your devices. You were successful, right? So we've got how to connect via Bluetooth. You may wonder, what about permissions? What about privacy? Am I safe using Bluetooth? Well, in general, yes. Yes, you are safe when you're using Bluetooth, but this is a very valid concern. So if you have that concern, it's totally okay. Bluetooth is awesome technology, right? If you want to listen to music all over your house, for example, or you've got a smart home device like an Alexa or an Echo Dot or something along those lines, it's a really, really good technology. But remember, we have to remember the privacy. And privacy almost always involves permissions. Now, I won't ask if you remember permissions, but we'll just do a quick review. Remember, your devices have permissions. And the permissions are very, very straightforward. Your phone has hardware, right? Like the microphone, the camera, the speaker, or the Bluetooth, right? It has those technologies, but the software on your phone can't just magically take over and leverage that. It can't just use that hardware, right? So you, as a user, when the apps or the programs say, "Hey, I'd like to access your camera," you have to say, "Yes, I will allow you to access my camera." In this case, WhatsApp. or maybe Instagram, right? You can access the camera, you can access the microphone, right? So you set the permissions when it comes to Bluetooth, which means there are going to be times when you download an app. You will download an app, and that app will ask you, hey, I would like to use your Bluetooth. I'd like to use your Bluetooth, right? It's going to ask you for permission. It's going to ask you for permission, right? And so you have to determine in this situation, and this can be tricky, what app should have permission to connect via Bluetooth, right? So here's some scenarios. I just want to run these by you. I'm going to give you a second to think. If you want to think more, even though this is a live stream, you can always pause it. It'll pick right back up where you were. But I'm just going to give you a scenario, and you think about, should I grant this app Bluetooth access permission? Right? And then you can test yourself, see if you were right. Here's the first scenario. Let's say you download an app, you're ready to lose a little weight, right? Maybe for health reasons or maybe just for aesthetic reasons, whatever reason. And you decide, well, what's going to help me is if I could track my calories. If I knew how much calories I was taking in, I could lose weight. This is very logical. Now you download that calorie tracking app and it says, I would like permission. I would like permission to use your Bluetooth connection. So here's your question. Do you want your calorie tracking app to have permission to use your Bluetooth connection? Think about that for a second. If you want extra time to think about it, just pause the video and really take your time and think about it, because these are the real life scenarios that you have to be able to manage so that you can make good choices. So take a second. If you want more time, pause it and come back. But I'm going to tell you a reason why you may or may not. So, well, more accurately, why you would want to do this. Because the reason you'd want to share the Bluetooth connection is because if you, for example, wear any sort of fitness tracker, what will happen is that device is wireless, it connects via Bluetooth. You can use your phone as an interface for your calorie tracking app to find out how many calories you have burned today. And then it can do a calculation for you and say, hey, you've eaten 2,200 calories today, but you have burned 2,600 calories today, which means you are negative 400 calories today. So in this situation, while it may seem unrelated, this is actually a situation where you may want to grant permission for that app to use your Bluetooth connection. But that was tricky, right? So we have to stop and think, really stop and think. Here's another example. Let's say you download your local grocery store's app, your local grocery store's app, and it asks for Bluetooth permission. Should you or should you not allow your local grocery store app permission to access your Bluetooth technology? Take a second, because this one's tricky as well. I'm going to give you a short answer, and I'm going to try and give the most basic explanation as to why I feel this way. In general, for these sorts of apps, I say no. Because often the purpose of the Bluetooth connection is for tracking you as you walk through the store. I don't really like that concept. A lot of grocery stores are moving to digital pricing or custom pricing, and so they can kind of manipulate the prices when you get to the food that you want to purchase. I'm not really a fan of that concept, but there's really no harm in it. In having the Bluetooth connections. So typically, our Bluetooth is for wireless listening. That's the main thing that we use Bluetooth for. This is how, your Alexas or your other home smart devices, if you've got like your lights or anything, or maybe even your Nest, all these things are connected via Bluetooth. But just a simple rule. If you are getting a notification that something wants to connect to your device via Bluetooth and you didn't initiate it, don't do it. Just turn Bluetooth off and just completely ignore it, right? Just lock that in. If you get that request to connect via Bluetooth and you didn't ask for it, don't. Don't. And we're going to talk about why you want to take that action in just a second. So, for this part, just remember, does this app need my Bluetooth connection? Take a moment always before you click yes on your permissions. You are in control of the permissions, right? You decide what devices can and cannot connect to your device using that Bluetooth connection. So, of course, we love the Bluetooth technology because it allows that wireless listening. It allows us to do other things. In my case, I like my fitness tracker. There's countless uses for Bluetooth technology. However, that does not mean that it is without any risks. So, of course, that's why I'm here is to keep you safe online. So, let's talk about some precautions that we want to take when it comes to Bluetooth technology. There's lots of different ways people try to leverage Bluetooth in a way that's unfair. We're going to focus on the big three. Number one is something called unauthorized pairing. So basically what happens is if your Bluetooth is on, it's almost always in discoverable mode, right? Like if you have Bluetooth turned on your device, other Bluetooth devices can connect to it, but you have to give them permission. So let's say, for example, a place where this happens a lot is like on public transportation or at airports. That's like two of the big places where this kind of thing happens because the hackers think, or these nefarious actors think, well, you might think it's your device trying to reconnect. So it may just say like Apple iPod 3 is trying to connect, and you may have iPod 3s, and so you say, oh, somehow they got disconnected. Let me just reconnect. You always want to double, triple, quadruple check the name of the devices that are attempting to connect with your device. Because what the hope is that a person can name some piece of nefarious equipment something common like iPod 3, and you'll just say, oh, this must be my iPod 3 that got disconnected, or iPod. I don't even know what year it is. My earbuds, it's trying to connect. And so, I'll just reconnect them. But you really want to double check and make sure. Sometimes it's a good idea to name your Bluetooth devices something unique so that it's very easy to recognize. So, for example, rather than just calling them like JBL earbuds, call them like your name, JBL earbuds, so that way you know. And you're able to set that up in the very beginning. It's very simple. So that is precaution number one. Be on the lookout for unauthorized pairing. Precaution number two is something called an evil twin request. Basically, what happens is this um, a nefarious person, a hacker, or an attacker, whatever we want to call them, what they do is they try to name a device something not familiar but seemingly harmless. For example, they may name a Bluetooth connection free airport Wi-Fi. So then it'll when they try to connect to your device, it'll say free airport Wi-Fi wants to connect to your phone. And if you wanted to use the airport Wi-Fi, you might think, oh yeah, that seems totally normal. I often use this airport Wi-Fi, but the difference is they're trying to use Bluetooth. They're trying to use Bluetooth to do this. You don't want to fall for that. You want to be really, really careful. Again, I've got it in big letters there. Always double check the device names. Don't just think, oh, this is something I've always done. It's no problem. Take the time. Take the time just to double check. All right, the last one we'll talk about today is file pushing. Because Bluetooth allows for the sending of files, right? That if you, let's say, for example, you've got a file on your phone that you want to put on your tablet, or you've got a file on your computer that you want to put on your phone, and you don't want to use email, or maybe it's too large of a file to send via email. Like sometimes, if you're trying to send a video, it'll be too big to put in an email, and so you can send it via Bluetooth. And so what people will try to do is say, oh, I'm sending you, like, let's say, for example, you're out of town. Maybe you go to Italy for a trip and you're sitting in the airport in Rome and you get a notification that pops up and says, hey, so and so is sharing with you vacation pictures from Vatican City. And you're like, oh yeah, this must be my family member or that person I met, and they're sending me pictures from Vatican City. You want to wait a second and really, really think about that because number one, if the person was close enough to you to use Bluetooth, then you should be able to ask them, hey, are you sending me these files? Are you trying to send me pictures from the Vatican? Because if not, then it's probably some sort of nefarious actor trying to send a malicious file to your phone so that they can steal your passwords or they can take other information for you. Just because they try this doesn't mean you're in danger. All you have to do is not accept it. If it says, do you want to accept? Just say no. Just say no. Keep it super, super simple. All right, those are the big three of precautions you want to take when dealing with Bluetooth technology. Again, just because someone's trying to do something, you're not necessarily in danger. So let's get into a live demo. You know I love a live demo. That is me being sarcastic. I, in fact, do not love a live demo because things so often do not go the way you want them to. But I do want to be able to show you how to do this. So I'm going to attempt to connect my tablet so that you can view the screen of my tablet, and I'll show you um, how I connect to um, my Bluetooth. So give me 1 second. In the meanwhile, I do want to just remind you that we have a couple of services that I think um, you would enjoy. Number one is, of course, we have the one-on-one support. So you may have a particular headache, a particular frustration with your device, any device, not just your phone or your tablet. It could be all sorts of things. Whatever that thing is, I want you to know that we're here to help, right? We're here to make sure that you can figure it out, that it's not a burden for you, that you're able to actually um, sort these things out without a lot of frustration, without a lot of headache. So you can go to our website, getfriendly.help, and on that website, we're there where you can set up a time for a one-on-one session to get the help that you need with your particular device. So obviously, you know, if you've been following me for any amount of time, this is something I do in my spare time. I'm often on my work break, so the times that I'm able to provide one-on-one support are a little limited. I will concede that. But there are times available on there. It's usually in the afternoons, right? It's usually in the afternoons, and we can do it short as 15 minutes if you've got like a quick little inquiry that you could use some help with, or we can do up to an hour if you're really trying to understand the way something works, or you need help with something like, moving files from your iCloud to another place. We're able to help with anything like that. All right, let's see if we can get on if we can make our live demo a success. Like I said, it's not my favorite thing because it doesn't always work the way you want it to, as we are experiencing right now. I've got both an Android device and an Apple device, and I will try to use both of them for this demo. So let's try again here. Our one isn't working, but perhaps our other will. So give me just a minute. My favorite part about this is even though this is something I'm pretty good at and don't find frustrating or stressful, you can see that it doesn't go perfect for me either. And of course, it's playing ads because it's a free app that I'm using. But you can see that even a person with expertise has frustrations using technology. It's not like it's pain free or without any sort of headache just because I know what I'm doing. We still have to figure these sorts of things out. All right, so here we go. Give me one moment and we're going to get into the demonstration using the iPad. All right, very good. Here we are. So this is my iPad screen. There it is. You can see it's the same as what you're looking at there. And we want to get to Bluetooth. So we'll go to settings. We will go to settings, and you see our Bluetooth is off here, right? You can see our Bluetooth is off. We want to turn that Bluetooth on. So we turn that Bluetooth on, and what did we do? We went into discoverable mode. Now I've got a pair of earbuds here, and what we're going to do is I'm going to open this, which is going to put these in discoverable mode. And they are called, this particular pair of earbuds is called a U dash Air something or other. I don't know. They're from China. I can't remember the exact name right now. But we're going to wait for these to appear on our list, and then we are going to connect them. And again, remember, this is a part that can take time. So we just have to be patient as it goes through the discoverable process. But you can see right here, right, that word discoverable. This is the most important part. We want them to be discoverable because if it's not, we're not going to be able to find them, right? So the iPad is discoverable. When I open the case to the earbuds, that puts them also in discoverable mode. So it's not working in this instance. So what we're going to do, show patience, we're going to turn Bluetooth off, right? And then we're going to turn it right back on, and we're going to open the case to the earbuds again and see if we can get them to connect. We're finding a lot of devices, but we're not finding our earbuds. Now, this is, as you can see, it's authentic. They didn't just pop up because I have never connected them to this device, right? Never once connected it to this device. So let's see here. I'm try one more time. See if we can get them to connect. There they are. U Air 4. Boom. We click on that, and guess what's going to happen? You already know what's going to happen. They're going to connect. As you can see, they are now connected successfully. We were able to do it, right? And so that's the process. It's not super difficult. Did you notice how quick the handshake was? Very, very quick handshake between those two devices, right? Sometimes that can take up to 90 seconds or more, which is extremely, extremely frustrating. So you just have to be ready to go through that process. So we're going to take one more chance with the other tablet, see if we can get it to connect. So that you can see what the process looks like on an Android. Um, so let's see here. Nope, it is not looking like it's going to work, friends. It's just one of those things. But I'll post some shots on our YouTube page, and you'll be able to view just the individual screenshots, and I'll walk you through each step. So, what have we covered today? A ton, but let's boil it down. Our major keys for today, right? Number one, Bluetooth is just a very short wireless connection, right? Just 30 feet, right? Just 30 feet, you're able to connect your phone, your tablet, or your earbuds, all these different things you're able to connect together, right? You're able to connect them together. The process is 4 steps: discoverable mode, pairing mode, the encrypted handshake, and then, of course, the success, the connection. If you find that you are having frustrations getting your Bluetooth devices to connect, again, go to our website, getfriendly.help. Set up a one on one time. We'll be able to work together. Additionally, we are looking forward to unveiling or unrolling. Actually, we are rolling out an unlimited tech help service where you'll be able to call in as many times as you want and get myself or another one of our helpers to give you real-time video chat just like this, but interactive. We'll be able to see one another and we'll be able to walk you through any process. We're super, super excited to be able to offer this. We're going to make it as affordable as we can so that anyone can get help through their tech frustrations. So, thank you for joining the stream today. Really, really appreciate your support. If you have not already, please subscribe. Please like this video. Please share it with friends or anyone that you think might benefit from it. And we'll see you next week with another friendly Tech Help Hour.